What's good? What it do? What's up, y'all? It's Mr. Two to the Two Full back at it again for another yap session with you guys, man. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's Tuesday. It's a cool little Tuesday. I feel blessed. I feel highly favored. I feel good today. I feel like Tuesday is a vibe today. But I ain't gonna hold y'all long. I'm gonna get straight into it. First thing I'm getting to, well, we gonna get into football. Fucking Jets sucked last night. I was utterly disappointed with their performance. They weak punching. Oh shit. Jesus. Oof. Excuse me. But yeah, I was utterly disappointed with the Jets' performance, man. That shit was awful. I'm not even gonna say awful. It just wasn't what I was expecting for the first game of the season. A lot of drop passes, a lot of miscues. You see, Brees Hall fumbled the ball. He did get a touchdown though. Aaron, then you saw Aaron Rodgers was swinging that bitch. He was working that shit down the field, doing his job, doing Aaron Rodgers' normal things. But they couldn't win the game. And the running back, what's his name? Jordan Mason from the 49ers. He nice. He like that. And maybe it could just be the O line, but the way he run, he nice. He don't got too many juke moves, but he run straight through your ass and then he got speed. So I like what I saw from him last night. I think I might pick him up in fantasy for one of my fantasy leagues. And I gotta make a trade for Debo. I'm getting I don't first of all, I don't fuck with the Cowboys. And the auto draft gave me Dak Prescott for my second QB. So I'm gonna trade Dak Prescott to someone else in the league for Debo because they got Pat Mahomes and they got Justin Jefferson. Well, they don't got that, but they got a receiver I want. But to stay within the realm of football, a more serious discussion that I didn't get to have yesterday, or rather, a more serious topic I didn't get to break down yesterday was Tyreek Hill was arrested before the game Miami played Sunday in a regular um, a traffic stop. It was alleged that he was speeding, and he was then, and then there was a alleged verbal altercation with the officer, and he was placed in handcuffs and then placed and a lot of people saw it was excessive force, including teammates who came out to help. Calais Campbell, I think, who was a defensive lineman for the Miami Dolphins, was also there. He also got detained and put in handcuffs. As they said, he was refusing to follow a direct order. This situation was just really crazy to me, and a lot of people saw it as crazy. I saw ESPN break it down a little bit, and Steve Renee was saying like this is something that does normally happen, just not always. I think he said this does normally happen because of traffic before games in Miami is a lot, and people do be speeding through that area. So he said this is, I guess, a common occurrence, I guess, in Miami. But what I take away from this is that one of the most important things I took away from this is when Tyreek Hill said, "What if I wasn't Tyreek Hill?" And that's a real crucial statement to understand. And I think a lot of celebrities who a lot of celebrities who end up in these situations like this, they always say, "What if I wasn't who I am?" And that's important because if they wasn't who they was, that could have been another black man dying on camera simply because they're not a recognizable face. They're deemed to be nobody by the officer in control of the situation, and that's just the unfortunate part of it is that because they look at you a certain way or you're looked at as less than, you are immediately dehumanized and degraded, and you're immediately treated with disrespect and met with disrespect, no matter your status or who you are, but because they don't know you and they automatically look at you as less than, you're treated as less than. But if he would have came out and said he's Tyreek Hill immediately, and they was like, "Oh, Tyreek Hill, oh, I'm so," it would have been apologies, get him out, taking him out the handcuffs, everything. He wouldn't have even touched the floor. But that's why the question Tyreek Hill asked, "What if I wasn't Tyreek Hill?" Because if he's just a regular black man speeding, that situation could have gone so much worse, so much worse. And then you have other black men coming to help him. What if they weren't who they were as well? That situation could have gone worse as well. Like situations like this is just a reminder of where this country is and how things have gotten better, but we're also not that many steps ahead. People make it seem like America is like 10 steps ahead culturally, when in essence, maybe we're only like two. Like, there's a lot of things in America that are better than other places, third world, second world countries, but America still has a lot of BS with it. And this is probably one that's very close to the top of the list, is that when it comes to dealing with African American civilians, the police always have to go straight to, well, not always, but it always seems in these instances the police go straight to disrespect, and it's never a conversation, is never any understanding, it's never no where equals just having a conversation to figure out what's going on. It's always met with disrespect. And I've seen other videos where in general just police officers meet people with disrespect. And it's primarily in the black community, but it happens everywhere else, because you can see like police is really the policing issue is I'm sorry if I'm stumbling on my words, but the policing issue, it really just be an abuse of power. It's straight abuse of power, and if they see you as less than them, it goes to straight disrespect and just straight like, no, no, fuck what you saying. It like it just it. Uh, sorry if I'm stuttering and stammering, but it really is just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to see, and it's ridiculous to just keep having to see these instances where you see a black man and a police officer, and it can never be just a respectful interaction, or an interaction that doesn't have to go left in any certain way. That's why the police officer now is on, I think, administrative duty. He's not on patrol, or in the field anymore right now. He's on administrative duty, because you know why? They know he fucked up. But rather than him get suspended, rather than there be some way reteachings of how to police, you just put him on administrative duty for a couple months. He'd be back out on patrol before you know. And then he'll do this to another person of color who's not Tyreek Hill. And then who's to say that situation doesn't go left? Because even in a situation where he wasn't threatened, there's no weapons. This man is a athlete, is a star athlete, an NFL superstar, probably one of the more recognizable face from the NFL. And still, even when you're unthreatened, even if it did get verbally hot, unthreatened, you still felt the need to put him on the ground when you already have him cuffed. Where can he go? He can't move anywhere. Now, I mean, if he start running, you fucked. But he can't go anywhere. So to put him on the ground made no sense. You already had the man in cuffs. This was a speeding violation allegedly. So even for speeding, there was no reason to put him on the ground at all. It just went straight to disrespect, and just to me, I feel like in those situations it simply just be a power play, because there honestly be no reason to put the person on the ground. And it's not even just in Tyreek Hill situation, but in situations where it's clear that there's not going to be no violent engagement, that this stop or whatever is simply for something simple, something that can be quick done in a hurry. There never be a reason for any officer in any of these indications, any video I've seen where it's similar to the Tyreek Hill situation, where it's just a simple stop for something that's simple and can be quickly done and handled. Whenever they put someone on the ground in their handcuffs, it doesn't seem like it's for a real reason other than their ego, or they're just scary as fuck. And from my understanding, if you're a scary as fuck person, you shouldn't be a cop. You putting people's life in danger. To be a cop, from what I see and how cops talk about it, you need a certain mental capacity to deal with people, deal with what you see. Like, so if you don't have that mental capacity or that callous in your body where you can just brush it off and not let your ego get affected or bruised, you shouldn't be an officer. You're gonna get people killed. You're gonna be brazen. You might be brazen and then get your partner killed, or you just might be a fucking arrogant, egotistical motherfucker who can't handle people talking to you rudely, and then you kill a civilian. And that's why the question of Tyreek Hill saying, "What if I wasn't Tyreek Hill?" is important, because when you deal with officers like that, if you're not Tyreek Hill, you're in a extremely dangerous situation. Because just for their ego, if they feel like you're doing something threatening to them, or they feel like you're not following their orders or what they are telling you to do, your life is in their hands. Shannon Sharp said this when reacting to the situation. In that moment, you are God. And that is a 50 plus year old man saying that. So that's a 50 plus year old black man saying that. That in that moment when the police pull you over, they're God. Because my as a black man, your life truly do be in their hands. As a person, I don't drive, but as a person who's been stopped with friends in the car just for a simple speeding violation, like it be tense. It be tense. It be scary. And this is from it be funny after, but it be tense. I can remember clearly one time, I ain't gonna say no names, but me and my homie was driving the rest of the crew. We was going coming from Wawa, going to Walmart. Now the lane to get from Wawa to Walmart, it's straight, it's a open, and it's at night. So this lane is just straight open. No one's on it. We the only people on it right before Walmart closed, about to go. So no one's on it. He speeds up. The driver speeds up just a little bit, maybe like 10 over the speed limit on an open lane. So as we turn to start making, he make the turn that we need to make to go to Walmart, officer pulls him over. Now, soon as we see the lights and hear the whoop whoop, the whole car get quiet and tense. Niggas don't make no moves. Niggas don't say nothing. We let him do all the talking. Police officer asks niggas question. He asks niggas one question. He's like, "Hey, y'all play football?" He's like, "Yeah, yep." One word answers. It wasn't too much of a conversation. And it was five of us, it was six of us in the car. Five niggas, one racially ambiguous bishop ambiguous nigga. And it was tense in there. Because in that moment, like Shannon Sharp said, that really is true. In that moment, when you are a black man in a car, whether you the driver or just a passenger, when police stop you, they are in charge of everything as a black man. Because one wrong move, one wrong word, one wrong thing, it can be just life altering, whether it's the extreme of losing your life, or you just now just got to deal with some shit that you didn't even see coming your way, just based off this bullshit it's just basically just based off a bullshit interaction. Now, luckily, in the interaction that we had with the officer, he is a pretty cool, chill guy. Now with the speeding ticket some annoying shit for my homeboy? It most definitely was, because it was an empty lane and it was only 10 over the speed limit. But that's a situation that went well. But even in a situation that is going well, everyone in the car was still tense and was not making any movements, was not saying anything. Niggas wasn't even touching their food. We had just got food. Niggas didn't even touch the food yet. We was eating. We put our food down. I know damn well I put my food right in my lap. I ain't say nothing. I was like, shit. I just think to myself, I was like, yeah, niggas don't got nothing on them. I left the weed in the dorm. Yeah, but this should be an easy stop. I was like, I know I don't got shit on me, but no one else does. That's just what went through my mind. Just me being honest. But No, man. Like in situations like though, that is very tense and it's very true because it only takes the right time to get the wrong cop. And the right time when you get the wrong cop can be the time your life changed forever, especially as a black man. And, but that's probably the only heavy thing. Well, actually, no. There's another story coming out of Southeast DC. Justin Robinson, a young man, he was 26. He was shot over 12 times by two cops while he was in his car, sleeping, allegedly sleeping. From the article I read, it said that the young man he did he allegedly crashed into a restaurant he commonly eats at, and he had a gun on his lap. The police surrounded his car, and as they surrounded his car, two of them, one approached the passenger window, one approached the driver's seat. And it was alleged they say he had his gun on his lap, and then the video allegedly the guy said that he was reaching for his gun, and then that's when they opened fire on the young man. Now that's the article I read. The stories I heard was that the young man was sleeping in his car, and it wasn't no gun, it wasn't none of that. And this happened last week. What's weird to me is why this is now coming out. But after that, at first it was weird to me why this is now coming out after a week. But it's because the family felt comfortable enough to put it out now. But what's just crazy to me is just like that situation could have been handled better. In the clip of the video I watched, it seemed like there was not a lot done. Just for me personally, there wasn't a lot done to diffuse the situation. I mean, if you are a person, and maybe the young man could have been having a mental episode, but if you are a young person having a mental episode, and then your car is just immediately surrounded with a bunch of officers, like you may be scared. And if the story really is that he was sleeping, and maybe he probably was sleeping before this, because if he did crash to a restaurant, he probably knocked himself out. If you wake up to just surrounded by a bunch of officers, then yeah, you wake up in a panic. And if his gun really was on his lap, then if his gun was on his lap, then that's probable cause. That is probable cause for why the officers may have acted the way they acted. But to still take that young man's life, I can't agree with that nor co-sign that. I understand the safety that officers have to take in a situation like that, where this young man just crashed. We don't know why he's crashed, and now he has a gun in his lap allegedly. So we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do here. Split decision, call back up, make sure, like, understandable in that. But from what I saw, I personally feel like there was more that could have been done to defuse the situation and just prevent that young man from losing his life. I think that's the main thing with these situations, is that there never seems to be it never seems to be a point where people are just trying to strictly diffuse before it gets to a point of violence or someone losing their life. I feel like there's not an emphasis on trying to prevent death when it comes to these police interactions. Like with these interactions, it's almost if like they choose. Because I'm trying to put my words together correctly with how I want to express this, but it's like with these interactions, there's never any like empathy of just life, and just I don't want to take a life today. In some of these incidents that we see, and it's just confusing because it's like where like is that that's kind of a skill you need to have to when you're dealing with people. And I would think that as a police officer, if your mission is to protect and serve, you should have more empathy. And your main goal when you go out for the day is to prevent a life from being taken. not contribute to it. In a lot of these situations, the mindset doesn't seem like they're trying to prevent from losing a life because they don't even try to diffuse the situation. There needs to be more training on how officers can diffuse these situations and handle these situations with people rather than, well, not handle situations with people, but like handle people, because you see a lot of instances where police do not talk to people properly. Police are disrespectful. Police are abrasive, just like people also are. But if you are an officer in that situation, you are held to a higher standard because you are in a position of power to protect people from others and in times from themselves. So if that's your job, I think it should be a more emphasis and a better understanding that, hey, my job here is to diffuse this situation, lower the risk, lower the danger, and help this person out and figure out what's going on before it gets to lethal force. Because in the video that I saw with the Justin Robinson man, I didn't, and I could be wrong, but from the clip I saw, I didn't see him reach for any weapon. I didn't see him reach for any weapons, and just in the video I saw, I didn't see him reach for anything. Now, if his gun was on his lap, it's on his lap, but I didn't see him reach for anything, and it's a shame that another black man had to lose his life. It's a shame that another person had to lose their life. Life is precious, and I think people just don't value. They don't value it. Some people really just take people out for their own selfish reasons or just split decisions. And it's like things didn't have to go that way. Things never have to go that way. Now, things do go that way, but for real, things don't have to go that way. There's always another option. There's always a better way to do something. Improvement is not just one step and then that's it. It's called improvement because you can keep improving on it. And I think there needs to be improvement to how policing is done because a situation like that, even as hot as that situation can be, there's still a way to diffuse that situation. At least in my eyes, I feel there's a way to diffuse that situation to the point where someone doesn't have to lose their life. It's traumatizing for a lot of people to keep watching people that look like them die on camera or just die in general. People watch people die in the hood every day. But not every day, but people watch people die around them in their neighborhoods. But to see people everywhere else die on camera, even people at times who are just doing the right thing, that shit is traumatizing. It'll fuck up anyone's brain. Because think about it, even for doing the right thing, even if you mind your business, you can lose your life. Like, or even if you were in danger, even if you endangered yourself and you needed some help, you can lose your life. Man, come on, man. Like, there's better ways to handle these things. Better ways to handle these things. That's what I'm gonna say about that. I'm gonna take a quick break. Ugh, I sound like a kid. Break. I'm gonna take a quick break. No, I'm gonna take a quick break because that was heavy. Started off the episode a little heavy. Then I'm gonna come back to about some hip hop real quick. What you doing, Pop? All right, I'm back. Whew. Now, if you haven't heard, you must be living on a rock. But Kendrick Lamar is performing at the Super Bowl halftime show in New Orleans. And you know who's not? The Dwayne. Not gonna lie, I don't know. I have a problem with it, and then I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it because one, just it's just music politics and just how business works. Right now, Kendrick is hot to mainstream media. Right now, Kendrick Lamar is the shit. To that demographic, Kendrick Lamar is the shit right now. So having him at the Super Bowl halftime show, it will do great numbers, especially with Not Like Us in heavy rotation the way it is. I mean, that record is all over the fucking place. And to have that record on the biggest show, one of the biggest shows, biggest stages in the worldwide, the Super Bowl halftime, I mean, it goes perfect together. Now, now the other side, I feel like this is just it's disrespectful. On the other side, I feel like this is disrespectful to Lil Wayne. Um, Lil Wayne is one of hip hop's superstars, not stars. He wasn't another common rapper. He wasn't just another run of the mill guy who had some great hits. Lil Wayne, for all intents purposes, was the guy for a long time. He was the guy for a minute. Lil Wayne, in my opinion, is the Kobe Bryant of hip hop. There's not another artist that I think has a run. There, there's very few artists I believe has the rap ability, the fan appeal, or the catalog that can match up to Lil Wayne. And has been hot and who are hot as long as Lil Wayne. Like wasn't Lil Wayne hot since he was like 16, like killing it in hip hop since he was 16, and then Birdman told niggas like, not this little nigga hit, he gonna tear the game up. And then Lil Wayne did exactly that. I'm a Lil Wayne fan to death. Lil Wayne is in my top five rappers of all time. I heard it. You know it's crazy. We gonna get back to the halftime show, but I heard a nigga say, "What other hits does Lil Wayne have other than a milli?" Fuck is you talk like what? Like sometimes some niggas don't need to talk, need to speak on hip hop, and sometimes certain niggas just need to shut up. Cause it's asking what other hits does Lil Wayne have other than a milli is crazy. Miss Officer, like, oh, man, I ain't gonna run down Lil Wayne's catalog, man. Lil Wayne was that nigga, man. In my opinion, Jay Z's only equal, just in terms of rap, that's still living, is Lil Wayne. If you take away the business side and you just line them up together, just in terms of just catalog and what they did in hip hop, it's hard to say they're not equals. But back to the halftime show. I really think it's just disrespectful that Lil Wayne's not performing in New Orleans at halftime for the Super Bowl. I mean, it's not some regular like rapper, some new rapper from New Orleans. It's Lil Wayne. Like I would understand if niggas was keeping for NBA YoungBoy to perform at the halftime show, and they said no and got Kendrick, because it's like okay, that's understandable. NBA YoungBoy is he's a younger artist. He got a lot of heat, but he's not to that caliber of artist to be headlining over anyone like a Kendrick. Lil Wayne is that caliber of artist. Like I said, Lil Wayne is up there with Jay Z, Kanye, Drake, Cole, and Kendrick. And in my opinion, he goes over Drake, Cole, Kendrick, and then him, Kanye, and Jay. I'm just talking about niggas that's alive. Him, Kanye, and Jay are equal. And LL Cool J is an equal in that too. I think people forget how good LL Cool J was and how important he was to hip hop. I'm not gonna sit here and name everyone that's in the tiers of hip hop, but I'm gonna give LL Cool J his props while I am naming tiers. He is in the upper echelon of hip hop with niggas who deserve to be respected as such. To go platinum in three different decades is really crazy work. Like that just shows how you can translate in any era and how in any era you can still be the man. And that's what LL Cool J did. But simply put, Lil Wayne is in a caliber of rapper that should not be disrespected, and he's in a caliber of rapper that should be headlining the halftime show for the Super Bowl. Listen, like I said, Kendrick Lamar, he's on a hot run right now. Not like us, he's going crazy. It dominate the summer. He's probably about to drop an album soon to keep on this run. But just in my opinion, man, nah, no, no. He should not be headlining over Lil Wayne, man. Lil Wayne is a fucking goat. When you have the chance to honor a goat and put a goat on your platform on a main stage like that with the catalog that he has, and you get another out of town nigga. No offense to Kendrick Lamar, but that's just the truth. That's like a slap in the face. And I heard Cameron say this is due to some past issues with someone else. Now he may now they, I don't know who he's alluding to. And Cameron maybe alluding to Jay Z. He maybe may be alluding to Jay Z, maybe. But if that's true, that's some hating ass shit, man, and that's some sucker shit. And I'm sorry, as a Brooklyn nigga, I'm gonna say if Jay Z pulling moves like that, that's just some sucker shit, man. I like that's just some sucker shit. Like, if Jay Z shout out to Jay if he has the power to pull moves like that, but I feel like using your power to pull moves like that is some sucker shit because the moment for hip hop should be bigger than some petty beef. Lil Wayne's performing at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, that would be a moment for hip hop. Not saying Kendrick's is not, because if Kendrick does hit the stage and perform not like us, and he calling Drake a pedophile on the Super Bowl stage, oh, best believe that's going to be a huge moment in hip hop. But it is very rare in hip hop where greats get to get their just due on certain stages and show how great they were, show how great they are, and how they really dominated airwaves. And I feel like if this was a move that was blocked for Wayne, whoever blocked it, whether it be Jay Z or someone else that Cameron's alluding to, is just sucker shit because it would mean so much more for hip hop for Wayne to perform on that stage. Like I said, a lot of legends in hip hop don't get their due or get to be on stages where they can show off how really talented and how dominant they were on those huge stages. The Super Bowl is a huge stage. Like I'm not, you can't lie about that. Like that's a huge stage to be on. It's a huge honor for anyone to do it if they feel like it's a huge honor for them. And that's why a lot of people do want to do the Super Bowl halftime. But some things are just right. Now this wasn't a decision that was blocked, and this is just simply whoever is control of the halftime or this the path they want to go, choosing Kendrick, that's fine. But I still say it just don't make sense because you have a legend from the area with a catalog that I would say is not compete is better than Kendrick Lamar's catalog that can go on that stage and really give you crowd rockers. Like niggas know what we're gonna get from Kendrick. We gonna get all right, we gonna get Not Like Us. We gonna get King Kunta, and then we might get All the Stars if SZA come out because it's an halftime show. They do multiple songs. We gonna get those four songs. What you telling me in New Orleans if Lil Wayne ain't do some shit like bring out the rest of Cash Money? He performed back that ass up, a Millie, Lollipop. Miss what? Oh man, like if Lil Wayne was able to go on stage and really perform his catalog, that shit would be crazy. That shit would be crazy. Like if Lil Wayne performed hell yeah, fucking right. What? At the Super Bowl halftime show, nigga, or Love Me. Like, oh man, no, my favorite record. If he came out there with 6'7", bruh, man, I don't think people understand how good Lil Wayne really is, man. Like, and to be honest, I genuinely think the Super Bowl halftime show, whoever's in charge of it, they missed out on an opportunity to have a great moment and have a lot of people tune in. A lot of people are still going to tune in, but it's different when you can have a legend, a living legend, get their just due on a stage like that. I think a lot more people would tune in for that because Little Wayne, for all intents purposes, if he's a legend, he's a fucking goat. People love Little Wayne. Like he's a fucking star, superstar. He is literally one of rap superstar. A lot of Wayne's influence is felt through a lot of hip hop now. And anyone who says different will be lying. Jay-Z's business acumen is what a lot of people have adapted. But the style, but a lot of people adapted Jay-Z's business acumen. A lot of people have adapted Wayne's style, how he dressed, how he carried himself. Those two are goats of hip, are two of the living goats of hip hop. And I think for Wayne to not get this look for the Super Bowl halftime, it's just kind of ridiculous. But another thing that's interesting about this, like I said, Kendrick's performing. Now, if he performs not like now in the trailer or whatever it was, the promotion for it, he mentioned something about a round two. Now, this is obviously a response to Drake saying round two's coming. If if this if round two is really coming, I don't know what that entails because round one was fucking crazy. Round one was trying to expose niggas on being wife beaters, pedophiles, having addictions, writing letters to niggas' kids, telling niggas they be faking they family shit. Your wife not really your wife, she be fucking your manager. Like these niggas was having fighting words do songs. Like this is shit that niggas would meet up and shoot and have a shootout about each other about as they said it to each other's face. Like that's crazy. And that was round one. The fuck else y'all got to say to each other for round two? Y'all niggas might as well go to a island somewhere and just squabble. Just fight, nigga. Like, cause if he go on that stage at Super Bowl and do not like us, in my opinion, there's nothing Drake could do that will hit hard. Yeah, the FIBA World Cup performance is that probably be tough. That's going to be tough, and he might send a shot at Kendrick through that. But it's Super Bowl stage and the FIBA World Cup are different. The FIBA World Cup, why it is a global stage, everyone watched the Super Bowl. Like the Super Bowl North is bigger than the FIBA World Cup, just in terms of popularity. Just in terms of popularity, the FIBA World Cup is not equal to the NFL Super Bowl championship, just being honest. So not like us at the Super Bowl versus maybe Family Matters at at the FIBA World Cup. I'm gonna take not like us at the Super Bowl. Nine times out of ten. And matter of fact, 10 times out of ten, and twice on Tuesdays. That shit gonna hit harder than fucking crack. You gonna have You gonna have probably over 100,000 people in a stadium singing along. Cause it's a sing along song too. It's not just one of them songs where you can't keep up. Like niggas can rap the whole song. It's memorable and it got a catchy hook and catchy bars. You gonna get called a pedophile on the world stage. I don't think there's anything that he can Drake will be able to do to come back from that. And what's crazy is it's a charge up. Like niggas are now waiting for that moment because now they know he's going to be at the Super Bowl, and this is a song he's not going to waste. If he can do it, if he did it for his own for the Juneteenth concert, and he had that shit rocking like that, everybody was outside for that. You think they not gonna let him perform that shit at the Super Bowl? You think that Super Bowl in New Orleans is not gonna be rocking to that? You think his camp or his team, Kendrick's team, will let him go on that stage with Not Like Us being the record it is, and that shit not get performed at the Super Bowl? What? What? Nigga, he gonna do that record, the crowd gonna go crazy, and Drake is not gonna have no way to really respond. Because then, because if round two is not already active by then, there ain't no more rounds, my nigga. You don't got you better have something heavy in the chamber to activate round two if round two isn't already activated by the time of the Super Bowl. And it should be by the time of the Super Bowl because man, if you really want a round two, you kind of got to get to it in time. That's kind of how Ja Rule fucked up. He didn't get to it in time. That's kind of how a lot of niggas fucked up with hip hop. In hip hop, they respond late. And niggas didn't really care to hear the response. They already decided that the nigga lost. And Drake, a lot of niggas have already decided you lost. The only nigga still caping for Drake is academics, and even then, I think niggas just put act on like, yo, Drake be using you, nigga. And this was nothing new. Niggas already knew this. Like Drake don't fuck with academics like that. And then it was crazy. I don't know who was talking to act, but a nigga really was really putting him on game. He was like, yo, that nigga don't fuck with you like that. Like, think about it. The same shit that niggas is calling him out for, the same shit he be doing to you. He's like, you promote. He's like, all he is using you for promotion. And that's the thing that academics don't understand sometimes. And the nigga who was talking to act said it perfectly. You are one of the you are the biggest hip hop platform. In all honesty, who else? Who and in all honesty, that's damn near facts. Because Joe Budden is a hip hop platform, but a lot of their topics don't always just be strictly hip hop. Acts sit there on that computer all day, on stream all day, talking about anything from fucking hip hop, straight hip hop. So when he says something about hip hop, his opinion is respected to the point where everyone is going to look, whether they disagree, agree, like him, dislike him, know him, don't know him. Niggas know when it comes to hip hop, academics is a core voice. What he say a lot of the time is going to get picked up and ran with, whether it's for agreement or disagreement. So when Drake reach out to him and asking that nigga to do shit and like promote for him, like nigga, that does a lot because academics doesn't just have a small brand. He has he- academic his reach and influence expands far throughout the airways and roads of hip hop. So when he says something is fire, niggas is gonna go to it. They're gonna go see it. And that's the thing nowadays with streaming. Even if niggas don't like it and they listen to it, it's still a listen. So if academics say some shit is hot, niggas is gonna go follow. And it's almost like a cosign. And that's the shit that the nigga was telling Act. He was like, yo, this nigga Drake don't fuck with you. You just another cosign, essentially. I'm summarizing, but that's basically what he was telling Act. He was like, "Yo, Drake don't fuck with you. He played Drake is doing playing the same game with you that everyone is calling him out for, and you don't see it. And just look at it. The nigga is only using you for free promo because you are such a fan. When it come to him, you forget you are one of the biggest rap and hip hop platforms on planet Earth, and him asking you to basically be a cosign is putting more bread in his pocket at free, for free. He don't got to pay you. You just giving him free promotion to get more bread in his pocket, and you get nothing. Because when it comes to him, you don't see you love him so much you don't see how the nigga is really shady. Now he's shady with you, and this is just me on my hip hop conspiracy theory shit. And I feel like if Ack really takes that to heed and start looking with how smart Ack is, he'll realize whoever homie that was talking to him isn't lying. And keep it a buck, if round two really is coming, Ack not being on Drake's side or not picking a side or even going with Kendrick, that tips the scales a lot. Because Ack is generally one of Drake's biggest fans and one of the main people who keep pushing for Drake's narrative of he's gonna come back with heat. But if Act don't fuck with Drake no more, who is going to be the promotion for Drake coming back with heat? And me personally, I think that's why Drake dropped the 100 gigabytes because maybe what Kendrick is saying is maybe what Kendrick and other niggas is saying about him is true. He don't have that many connections. Not a lot of people really fuck with him because he pulls shady shit, or maybe other niggas pull shady shit with him, or maybe it's just miscommunication between niggas and niggas are just being catty. Maybe that's just overall what it is. But maybe the nigga really don't have a lot of connections because he probably do pull shady shit. And if he don't have Act on his side to basically be his promotion, that he gonna come with some heat. Who hey, in terms of just hip hop, globally, niggas would say niggas globally he's gonna have the promotion, but it's the hip hop cosign, and that's what everyone keeps talking about. The hip hop cosign from Act specifically gets people from hip hop to listen and decide if he won or not. Not globally, because that's not who he's focused on when it comes to Kendrick. He knows this is a hip hop issue, and he knows that hip hop he I personally don't feel like Drake gives a fuck about hip hop, but he knows hip hop is the one lane where he can keep adding his money up and success up in. Is where he gets his acceptance and validation. Everything else is just more about the bread. But his validation comes from hip hop as much as he doesn't care about the money he gets from it because he gets money from doing other genres. But his validation comes from hip hop. That's why he does all his features. That's why I personally think what the nigga said to Act. He just be looking for a cosign. He be looking for free promo. But mm, that's just my opinion on that. Um, oh yeah, I did say I was going to talk about. I was going to continue talking about Interview with a Vampire for y'all. Discussing our nigga Louis. Now, Louis in Interview with a Vampire, he is Lestat's love interest. Nah, that's really simplifying it. Louis is the main protagonist of Interview with a Vampire, and he is the main narrator. And as the narrator, he is definitely a unreliable fucking narrator, absolutely unreliable narrator. And you see it within the show because you really see how he lies and he doesn't, or and he lies and he hides the truth of what actually happened. And a lot of times his mind is really be clouded by what actually happened, and he's not really telling the truth, which is I think is one of the more interesting things about Louis. And also, like, if you also watch the show, you can see how at times he covers up for like Lestat's like trash ass behavior, like towards him. He'd be like, but he had a way. And it's like at some point this shit Stockholm syndrome, my nigga. Like this nigga, he done traumatized you, taking you away from your family. You almost ate your nephew, but you like this nigga just has a way about him. And it was like, yeah, this is Stockholm. This has to be Stockholm syndrome at some point. I'm not even a nigga to be using them type of terms, but I'm watching the show. I watched the whole show. The shit has to be some way close to Stockholm syndrome. Because even after nigga dropped him from the sky, nigga got over it and then still wanted, like, what? Man, man. And then even when he wanted to, and then even when the nigga killed him, even when Louis killed the stock, the nigga knew that where his casket was going to have a bunch of fucking food for him to feed on, and that the casket could still be open from the inside. Like man, yo, sometimes like really watching an interview with a vampire, sometimes you get aggravated. You're gonna get aggravated with Louis because he really just be like on some like poor me shit sometimes. Like sometimes you see him be on his shit of like, man, fuck these niggas. Then he be on some shit like poor me. Then you just see how just delusional homie be. And they be like, damn, fam. Like, yo, have some nuts. You got some nuts about yourself, my G. Stop getting beat up and start getting mentally dragged by these niggas, man. Yo, nigga like he like a fucking psych major in college getting manipulated by a hood nigga. It's like, fam, you're smarter than this. How are you falling for this? This should be crazy. And it's like, and another thing that's really interesting about Louis is like he's really like an emotionally unstable like man at times. Like he can get very mad. Like, nigga asked the nigga if he had schizophrenia, and the nigga just he gave the nigga the schizo smile. He was like, no, no, I'm not schizo. I don't do that. And it was like, and it's so interesting how they do it in the show. In the show, it's so interesting the show of the scene because it's like it makes you look at him with like this nigga gotta be lying. Like he has to be lying. Be- But another thing I think I really like about Louis in the show is the dynamic it shows with him being a black man because it really shows how he has so much power in one life, but in the life he was born into, he doesn't have a lot. And just in terms of how he's just treated socially, because he Louis was you could, I think for all parts you could say an aristocrat of sorts, even though he was a pimp. He was an aristocrat of sorts. He was a higher class individual, even as a Negro man during for his time, but he was treated crazy. Like still was treated crazy and disrespected and looked down upon. But he also had when he became a vampire, he also had this immense power that he can easily use to his advantage that he wasn't using until he snapped. He said it himself in the show, like he snapped and he took all those years of just disrespect and just snapped and killed the nigga. He was like, yeah, fuck all that, bro. I'm going to use this power that I have now to not be disrespected and not be made to look like I have no power. And I think that's just such an interesting like dichotomy of like, hmm, he has power, but then in a lot of ways he doesn't have power. And then it's interesting because you see this almost similar dynamic with him and Lestat, where it's like he has the similar power to Lestat, but he still is beneath Lestat in a way. And you can see it in some of the ways of how just Lestat treats him, and just also just in some of the ways of just their dynamic and how they act with each other. And it's really interesting. And then another thing that's interesting about Louis is almost how he's kind of like he's coaxed into being a vampire by Lestat. Like he was at his lowest. His brother had committed slip and slide, Um, he was confused about his sexuality. He was confused about who fucking Lestat was. He called the nigga the devil. And then at his lowest point, the nigga just got coaxed into being a vampire. Now I feel like maybe Louis has accepted being a vampire. The as you can see in the interviews in the current time, he's more comfortable being a vampire. But you can still see that he has his humanity. But in those years of when it was just him and Lestat and he's trying to figure it out, you can see he was becoming like Lestat in a way of getting tired of living. Of like, this shit is monotonous, it's boring. And you can see how he just got used to, and then you can just see how he just got used to the dumb shit. Like with Lestat, he got used to the nigga cheating. He got used to the nigga having freak outs. Like you see, he pulled the strange suit with the Johnsons. Nigga started yelling about the chess game. Nigga just turned the radio up. He was like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I really think, but the character overall, the character of Louis is so interesting because you see a man who he just has so many like back and forth with power, in terms of just like how much power he possesses and how much control he has. When you first meet Louis, he's a pimp. He is a pimp and he runs a house and he has a lot of money. Yeah, he's decently respected. Mom still hated and looked down upon because he's a black man, but he has power in that way. But because he's a black man, he doesn't have power. Then you see where in his relationship with Lestat, it's still mentor, mentee, and then socially in areas it's white and black. But in their own private time, when Lestat feels like they're equals. Now he's overall an interesting character, and I think that if you like if you like books and you like shows told from the perspective of an unreliable narrator, you will enjoy Interview with a Vampire. But that's overall just my take on Louis. He's a very interesting character, unreliable character, but at the same time, he's just very complex because you see of how he holds his humanity so near and dear to his heart, but at the same time has he ended up having no fear of expressing that he's a vampire, and he learned that he kind of had to learn it through the hard, in a lot of sense, the hard way. And learning, I think, also learning through he learned it through a relationship, and a very tumultuous relationship, which was interesting. It's an interesting dynamic to the show. But overall, Louis is a character that you will like if you watch a movie The Vampire. Ugh, it's about to it's an hour of me talking, and I'm about to close this out. But the last thing I'm gonna talk about, Tyrese. This nigga Tyrese, man, he got jailed for child support. I think allegedly he owed his wife 73K, 73 or 78K, so 70 plus K in child support. And then he found the money miraculously. He found the money miraculously, and I think he got bailed out, or he's awaiting bail. But I just want to talk about this because 10K a month for a kid is crazy. No 5-year-old needs 10K a month. And this is my thing with, like, the older I get, I look at child support and I be like, this shit is crazy because a lot of times you see situations where this is not even a deadbeat father. Like, this is a nigga that want to be around his kids, and like he's just getting taxed to just try to be around his kids. Like, yo, 10K a month, like for anyone. Listen, you could be a billionaire. 10K a month still has to look a little crazy at the end once you add that up. Of like, I could have put that somewhere else because that 10K a month is definitely not going all to the child, especially if the child is 5. I can understand if it was if it was even close to like a 18-year-old. If the kid was like started hitting high school and like you need to start saving for college, 10K a month. Oh, that makes a lot of fucking sense. But this 10K a month is not even going to the kid. What clothes? How much clothes is being bought for a 5-year-old with 10K a month? Not a lot. That shit is going to the ex-wife or the young lady, the baby mother, whoever, whatever she want to be deemed as, is going to her lifestyle. That's not child support. That's spousal support. And spousal support exists. And that's why I think child support is really just dumb, because for the most part, it doesn't be placed on deadbeat fathers. It be placed on people that want to be with their children. And then it be these ridiculous amounts that leaves the person paying child support fucking crippled. I be hearing stories of niggas can't pay, they pay their whole check to child support, can't pay their rent. Niggas be homeless just paying, going to work and paying child support. How the fuck that work? It be niggas live in a shelter. They live in the shelter, but they pay child support and they can't leave because they have to slowly save up to even get a crib because they pay damn near all their check to child support. Like that shit is crazy. And then you have these absurd amounts where it's like that the kid doesn't need that. Like, where it's like that's obvious that's not for the kid. Like it's obvious that that is to support the other person's lifestyle and the other person's. And if that's the case, why not have the child with the parent who's paying child support? Because honestly, that parent can't afford to support the lifestyle that the child probably needs. That the other parent is getting the money from the child support payer for. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe my common sense is not everyone's common sense, because common sense isn't common. But just to my brain, in any situation where someone is paying child support, man or woman, if the person who is paying child support can take care of their kid, has no obligations that is going to render their kid in any danger or or they can neglect their child, they have the funds to take care of their child. Why would the judge not send the child with that parent? And I know it's because the spanking thing with Tyrese, but we got come on now. Kids get spankings. Kids get spanked. Like people act like they don't pop their kids. People pop their kids, man. Now unless you beating your kid ass, you just an awful person. But people pop their kids. Your kid about to touch the stove, you gonna pop your kid on the hand, and be like, hey, don't touch that. Now if that's the reason why he don't have his kid, if he did something crazier, then I can't speak on that. But if he simply just gave his child a spanking or pops his kid, and that's why he don't have his kid, and he gotta go through all this, that's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous because it's not like he's done. It's like an example like this, and examples like these. It's not like the person is not trying to be around their child. They're clearly trying to make an effort to be around their child, and they clearly have the means to take care of their child because they're paying this person, this the other parent out the ass to take care of this child. But no 5-year-old needs 10K a month. If that's not going to a college fund, that child don't fucking need that. Like, that shit's just ridiculous, and it's just to me it's crazy. In all honesty, to me it's just crazy, and it don't make sense. I feel like children do require a lot of money, but at some point it becomes absurd, and it becomes not even about the child anymore. It just seems like it's about the adults having a quarrel, and the child is becoming a pawn. But that's all I gotta say on that situation. That's all I gotta say about child support. And keep it a buck. That's all I gotta say for the day, man. 224 out, man. It is what it is.